10 out of 10, the number one thing to regulate your nervous system is somatic release breath work. What does that mean? Soma is your body, breath work is breathing. And I put heavy emphasis on the work. So let me kind of explain to you what a breath work session is if you work with me or join one of my programs where we have it, because it's not like box breathing, which is great as kind of like, if you want to look at it as like an albuterol inhaler. Like if you're having an asthma attack, it's a quick little hold for 4, right? The type of breath work that I do actually triggers the nervous system by design in a safe way, right? Instead of like, when you log on to social media and you see your ex posting and that triggers you, that would be an unexpected trigger, right? Or you're in an argument with your partner and something is triggered from childhood or whatever. And so this is an intentional, safe space to bring up what's repressed in the nervous system and educate you on how to release it and let your body discharge it, right? Your body has to complete a trauma cycle to fully release something that's stuck in your nervous system. And most of us were never taught how to do that. In fact, we've got stuff repressed in there from childhood, beliefs, stories, identities we've created that is all right here. So the way that I explain this to clients to help them understand, and I specifically work with a lot of men, so I'm going to use him or, kind of the male perspective, is most men walk around with a boiling pot of water in their body that they've put the lid on, okay? And that thing starts to bubble over, but we are keeping the lid on it because we don't know what happens if we're going to open it up. We're afraid it's going to boil over or explode or whatever. So we just keep the lid on it. And what breath work does is it creates the container where we're like, fuck it, lift the lid. Right? Because you're doing it alone, right? There's nobody around you. You create the space at home or wherever you can have privacy for an hour and a half so that you can lift the lid on the boiling pot and let it do what it needs to do so that you don't have to keep forcing the lid on it because that sucks. That's not fun. That's not a great way to live. However, it's how most people live. So what breathwork does is we do that enough, right? We get into a pattern of breathwork because when you release it, all of a sudden you get to look inside the pot and figure out what's in there as opposed to like, I don't know what's in there, but we're not going to find out. You intentionally, by design, lift the pot, right? Now, what's cool is once your body releases this stuff, and because we're changing the oxygen levels and the CO2 levels in your body starts to release something called DMT. Now, that is what is used in psychedelics synthetically, but your body actually has it in it. And by doing this breath work, we start to shift some of that naturally in our body. So we can almost be in a dreamlike meditative state once we've calmed the boiling water down, right? And it's actually a really beautiful experience. You finally have like calmness in your body, maybe for the first time ever. You can have an out-of-body experience. You can have visions. You can have dreams, all within this 1 hour time period. And we switch up the breath throughout of it, like breathing through your nose signals to your body you're safe and to rest. Breathing through your mouth tells your body it's time to bring up what's repressed. So when we do this breath work consistently enough, and I recommend for the men in my men's program and my self-aware army where we do breath work once a week, especially when you're going through stuff. If you're in the first time breath work, plan on doing it once a week. I don't recommend more than that because again, we got to give the body time to adjust and like enjoy the calm nervous system. And so what we're doing is we're actually turning the temperature down under the pot of boiling water because the more we do that, the more we've discharged, right? And all of a sudden that water is at room temperature, which means then going back into everyday life, somebody can come along and trigger you and turn the temperature up on the water or on the stove. I don't know, go with analogy. And it's going to take you a lot longer to come to that rolling boil and to the point where you're bubbling over. And you will learn skills and tools if you work with me in my programs to learn how to turn the dial down on the trigger emotions, temperature, whatever. So you actually never really fully get back to that boiling point. The reason you were at the boiling point is because you were in a pressure cooker and you didn't know how to discharge the heat. And so that is how I describe breath work to people, and why it has been absolutely game-changing for me to be able to know what to do with what I feel. Because nobody ever teaches you these things. They just teach you to repress it or shout or fight or fawn it, freeze it, and it's not effective. It's not a great experience. So if you want to get out of survival mode, you're going to have to learn how to go against your body that's only trying to keep you surviving. And if you want to thrive, then you've got to learn new skills and tools that get you closer and moving towards thriving as opposed to just staying in your default surviving. So what you're hearing in the background is actually me creating a brand new playlist. I have members in my Self-Aware Army. We do live breathwork sessions via Zoom. Everybody's got their camera off. Everybody's got their microphones off. It's just they're listening to me live as I deliver the breathwork session. It's amazing how much you can internally shift in 1 hour without anything in your outside world changing. And that's how you really learn to start to master that life is an inside game, not an outside game. Most of us look to the outside world to tell us we're loved, we're seen, we're understood, we're validated, we're significant. But if you don't believe that about yourself inside, if you don't work on that inside part, you're going to find all the evidence to match your internal beliefs. So it starts on the inside, and you can change how you feel on the inside in an hour or less through something like breath work, which is learning to regulate your nervous system. And if you want to learn more about that, hit me up in the DMs, hit me up in the comments, and questions you have, I'd love to answer them, because this work fucking has changed my life. That's why I'm sharing it. Oh, and hey, my name's Tara, and I'm on a mission to create a self-aware army because it's lonely in these self-aware streets.